Hi, I'm Fayer, and I'm from OmniTI, and the next 5 minutes will contain no valuable information. It's just going to be a 5-minute long rant. I'll be honest with you, so bear with me here. This is my frustration about misuse of the term DevOps. So with all the talks before me who actually told you what DevOps is, how many of you could answer the question what DevOps is? Anybody? Really? How many of you hesitated because to ask that question? Okay, that's a little better. So what is DevOps? I mean, the chances are whether you can define it well or you can't. If I ask 10 of you or 20 of you, chances are I'm going to get 10 or 20 different answers, regardless of what it is. And it doesn't mean the answers are going to be wrong. They're just going to be different, mainly because of because of what DevOps is. But the one thing that I would like us all to agree on, if we can, DevOps is not a thing, right? It is not. It is not a thing. It is not a widget. Don't use it as that. So, and because it's not a thing, it's also not a product. It's not a product. It's not a suite of products. It's not a complete solution, no matter what vendors are trying to tell you. It's not any of that. And as such, you can't buy DevOps. No offense to any vendors or sponsors or anybody else. You can't buy it. You can't sell DevOps. You can't trade it. You can't. Doesn't mean that people are not going to try to. I mean, I don't know how many of you have seen that as a pitch to you at any given point. By the way, that's an actual quote from an email. So people tend to use all the buzzwords like DevOps, like cloud, like everything in conjunction. So another big tip and frustration of mine, those buzzwords are not interchangeable. I hear a pain point in the audience. They're not. You cannot really say that DevOps is agile, right? There is an intersection, there is a Venn diagram which very clearly shows where those buzzwords cross paths, but there's not the same thing. You cannot use them interchangeably wherever you want. And when people realize it, it becomes much clearer that you can't buy it. And when you can't buy DevOps, what do? You go and hire DevOps, right? Because that's what people do. And what biggest fallacy of hiring DevOps, and that's strictly from organization perspective, because people don't understand what DevOps is, they build a whole DevOps department. Because 2 dysfunctional groups is not enough, we need to build a 3rd one. So you bring the DevOps in, you hire, and people have no idea. Again, people have absolutely no idea what DevOps is. Not a clue. And they assume DevOps, if they put DevOps in front of any title, it will be so much better. They will attract all the talent. So you see jobs racks out there. I don't know how many of you follow hashtag DevOps on Twitter. You see anything from automation engineers to desktop support with the DevOps title. It is also not a plot to make employees to do more work. It doesn't mean that you have a dev job and an ops job, you can hire one person with a DevOps stack and make him do double the work. It is not the way of the webmaster of the 90s. I don't know how many of you remember the webmaster of the 90s, but that was a lonely IT person sitting in the corner working on the website, also doing the backups and fixing the printer. And another argument here, and that's actually from the other side, from the people themselves, is that DevOps promotes mediocrity. It's basically a call to do more and be less skilled in that. It is not that. It is actually promotes people to be better at more jobs. Not at all, because that's really, really fucking hard. But be better at more jobs because the systems become more complex and it's actually much more beneficial to the people themselves. And most important, and that's a conversation I have all the time, DevOps is not a new thing, right? The term's been coined not so long ago, and there's been movement, and John's been really good at giving a history of it, but it is not new. People have been very successful running pretty large architectures for many, many years, right? Arguably, tools are different, arguably improvement of what we had, but like all the talk now about the Git and the Docker and containers, we did the shit with rsync and the bash scripts. Right? I mean, we did. I mean, bottom line is there is no DevOps magic button that you press and all of a sudden you have DevOps, so you hire DevOps. I mean, DevOps is a philosophy, it's a culture. You have to embrace it. So go forth, educate your peers, colleagues, and people who are trying to sell you DevOps. and we do good. Thank you.